Your best friend Jungkook was everything you could ask for, loyal, dependable, and always there when you needed him. But there was one thing you didn't know. He was the ruthless leader of the most feared mafia in the city. And there was another thing you didn't know. He was obsessed with you. You met Jungkook a few years ago when you accidentally stumbled into a dangerous situation on the wrong side of town. He had saved you, taking you to safety. And ever since, you'd been inseparable. Despite his mysterious lifestyle, he had always been gentle with you, his eyes softening whenever they landed on you. One night, you were relaxing at home, watching a movie, when you felt a strange chill. Shrugging it off, you turned back to the screen, but the uneasy feeling didn't leave. You couldn't shake the sense of being watched. Little did you know, hidden cameras were positioned around your apartment, capturing every single move you made. Jungkook watched from his penthouse, his eyes glued to the multiple screens displaying different angles of your home. He watched you as you laughed, as you cooked, and even as you slept, a dark possessiveness swirling within him. He had installed the cameras himself, under the pretense of wanting to keep you safe. And while that was partly true, the real reason was his obsession with you. It was a fixation that consumed him. He needed to know everything about you, even if that meant crossing boundaries. You were oblivious to the truth. To you, Jungkook was your safe space, the person you trusted more than anyone. You had no idea that the person you called your best friend watched you every night, his gaze hungry and possessive, yearning for more. One evening, you texted him casually, "Hey, wanna hang out tonight?" He replied instantly, "Of course, be there in 10 minutes." Within minutes, he was at your door, his usual charming smile in place. You welcomed him in, unaware that he had already seen every corner of your apartment earlier. As you talked and laughed, he kept his eyes on you, his mind racing with thoughts of keeping you close, always. You were his, even if you didn't know it yet. "Hey, YN," he said suddenly, his tone soft but his eyes intense. "You know you're safe with me, right?" "Of course, Kook. I trust you," you said, smiling. If only you knew how deep his obsession ran. The next morning, you woke up to a soft beeping sound coming from your phone, an alert from the security app Jungkook had installed for you. He insisted on having top-of-the-line security for your apartment, claiming it was necessary because of the rough neighborhood. You believed him, grateful for how protective he was. You scrolled through the app absent-mindedly, not noticing the subtle red indicators on the screen. If you had looked closely, you would have seen that the cameras weren't just for your front door and windows, but were spread throughout your living room, bedroom, and even your kitchen. But to you, it was just another one of Jungkook's ways to make sure you were safe. Meanwhile, in his penthouse, Jungkook leaned back in his leather chair, a smirk on his lips as he watched the live feed from your apartment. He knew your routines, your habits, and your little quirks. His eyes darkened when he saw you open the fridge to grab a carton of milk. It was the little things that drove him crazy, how you always shook it before pouring, the way you hummed to yourself as you made breakfast. "Beautiful," he muttered to himself. But that wasn't enough. Just watching you from afar only fueled his desire for more. He didn't want to be just your best friend. He wanted to own you, possess every part of you, so that you'd never think of anyone else but him. The thought of anyone else even looking at you made his blood boil. Later that day, you decided to invite some friends over for a small get-together. Jungkook knew about your plans before you even sent the message. He had already seen the group chat pop up on your phone screen through the cameras. The idea of other people in your space, invading what he considered his territory, made his jaw tighten. You were in the middle of setting up snacks when Jungkook's number flashed on your screen. You answered with a smile. "Hey, Kook, what's up?" "I'm coming over." His voice was calm, but held an edge you didn't quite understand. "Oh, are you joining us for the hangout?" you asked, surprised. "No." There was a pause. "I just need to talk to you. Alone." Sure. Come over anytime." You hung up, feeling a bit unsettled. It wasn't like him to sound so serious. Still, you brushed it off, thinking he probably just needed to vent. Jungkook arrived within minutes, and the moment he stepped in, you noticed the shift in his demeanor. His eyes scanned your apartment like he was assessing a threat. His jaw clenched tightly. "Jungkook, are you okay?" you asked, frowning. Instead, he walked past you and started checking the rooms, as if confirming something. "Who's coming over tonight?" he asked, his back to you. "Just some friends from work," you said, watching him curiously. "Is something wrong?" Jungkook finally turned to face you, his expression unreadable. "I don't want anyone else here." Your eyebrows furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean? You're acting weird, Kook. They're just friends." "They don't need to be here," he said, his tone firmer. "I don't like it." You crossed your arms, feeling a mixture of frustration and concern. "Jungkook, you can't just decide who I hang out with. What's gotten into you?" He stepped closer, and for the first time you felt a hint of fear. His eyes were intense, his expression dark. "I'm protecting you, YN. You don't know what's out there, what people are capable of." His voice softened, but the possessiveness remained. "You don't know who's watching you." A shiver ran down your spine at his words. "What do you mean, watching?" He tilted his head, a small smirk tugging at his lips. "You don't need to worry about that. Just trust me, okay?" You forced a smile, trying to shake off the unease. "I do trust you. I don't understand why you're being so intense." Jungkook's hand reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair behind your ear. "It's because I care about you, more than you know." His touch lingered for a moment before he pulled back. "Cancel the gathering tonight. Let's spend time together, just the two of us." You hesitated, feeling torn. Part of you wanted to say yes. Jungkook was your best friend, and you knew he meant well. But another part of you felt like something was off. You glanced at him, his eyes watching you so intently that it almost felt like you were being cornered. "Okay, fine," you agreed reluctantly. "Just tonight, though." His expression softened, a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. "Good. I'll take care of everything." As the evening wore on, you started to relax, thinking maybe you were just overthinking things. You and Jungkook settled on the couch, watching one of your favorite movies, and for a moment, everything felt normal again. But when you glanced at him, you couldn't help but notice the way his eyes never left you, like he was memorizing every detail. You smiled at him, and he returned it, but there was something possessive, almost predatory, lurking beneath that smile. Little did you know that the real danger wasn't from the outside world, but from the man sitting right next to you, the one who had been watching your every move, even when you thought you were alone.